Hey guys, welcome back. DripCoach here with Drip and Farm for Poverty, where we don't trust, we verify, and operate with integrity and transparency. Today, diving into an update on a lot of Bitcoin news and global information related to it, such as BRICS and MicroStrategies and even Florida. So stay tuned. All right, going to my friend Notebook LM to merge all this together.
Welcome back, everybody. We're diving into some really interesting articles today, all about Bitcoin. And, well, they're all pointing to one thing, really, Bitcoin's incredible potential.
It really seems like Bitcoin is ready to shake things up.
Yeah, especially with all these bullish end-of-year predictions floating around.
Exactly. It seems like everyone's talking about Bitcoin right now, and for good reason.
Right, and what's really fascinating is how these articles connect Bitcoin's rising value to this, this growing global feeling that the traditional financial system is
a bit shaky.
Yeah, a bit shaky.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
So let's just jump right in.
Sounds good.
MicroStrategy. They're a software company, but they've gone all in on Bitcoin.
Yeah, they're holding, what, 250,000 Bitcoins already? Something like that?
Yeah, it's an insane amount. But here's the kicker. They're planning to raise a massive $42 billion to buy even more over the next 3 years.
It's a huge statement. They're like, we believe in Bitcoin's future, and we're putting our money where our mouth is.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, look at Bitcoin's performance this year.
A new all-time high of $73,000.
It's hard to argue with their enthusiasm at this.
For sure, but it makes you wonder, why are so many countries and companies looking towards Bitcoin?
Well, these articles suggest it's because of this growing dissatisfaction with the current financial system.
Especially with the US dollar being so dominant.
Exactly. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have been hinting at creating their own payment system for years now.
Right, and while their recent summit didn't have any big announcements on that front,
it's clear they're looking for ways to rely less on the US dollar.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then you have the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the SKO.
They're actually developing a payment system to promote using local currencies among their members.
Talk about a direct challenge to those big Western financial institutions.
I know, right? And there's even talk that the Bank of International Settlements might shut down its own digital currency project. Yeah, and Bridge. It feels like we're on the edge of a major shift in global finance.
And Bitcoin is right at the center of it all.
It really is. And this article about Vietnam is so interesting.
Yeah, they just participated in the BRICS summit.
And while they're not officially part of BRICS yet,
their presence and their prime ministers' meetings with China and Russia suggest they're looking to align themselves more with non-Western powers.
It's a delicate balancing act for them.
Definitely, they have these close economic ties with the U.S., but they're clearly exploring other options.
It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, how this impacts their relationship with the U.S.
Especially with all the recent efforts to improve ties between the two countries.
And speaking of the U.S., things are changing here too.
Oh, how so?
Well, this article talks about Florida's CFO, Jimmy Patronis, proposing a state Bitcoin stockpile.
Really? What for?
To support retiree pensions.
Wow, that's interesting.
He's drawing inspiration from Donald Trump's pro-Bitcoin stance.
You know, that makes sense.
Yeah, Bitcoin's gaining traction even within the U.S. political system.
Well, it's often referred to as digital gold, right?
Exactly.
So the idea is it could act as a hedge against volatility in more traditional assets.
Right, and Florida isn't alone. States like Wisconsin and Michigan are also exploring Bitcoin investments for their pension funds.
So the idea of a Bitcoin treasury is catching on.
It really seems like it.
It all points to this growing feeling that the current financial system might not be as reliable as it once was.
Exactly. And these articles highlight some pretty stark examples of that.
Like Russia finding Google, what was it, $20 decillion?
20 decillion.
For blocking pro-Kremlin content.
20 decillion. That's more than the entire global GDP.
I know, it's crazy, right?
It's an astronomical number.
And Google technically declared bankruptcy in Russia, but a lot of their services are still available there.
Yeah, a complicated situation.
It really highlights the flaws and vulnerabilities of the existing financial system.
And it makes sense why countries are searching for alternatives.
Absolutely.
So with all this happening, why should we as individuals care about Bitcoin? What does it all mean for us?
Well, think of Bitcoin like a battery for your time and energy.
A battery?
Yeah, you earn and you store that value in Bitcoin.
Okay, I like that analogy.
It's a new way to hold and transfer wealth outside of those traditional systems.
Which, as we've seen, can be pretty unpredictable.
Exactly, and it ties into what MicroStrategy's CEO said about the digital transformation of capital.
It really feels like we're witnessing a fundamental shift in how we think about money.
And Bitcoin is leading the charge.
And that brings us to self-custody.
Owning your own Bitcoin keys.
Yeah, it gives you control over your assets.
Which is so important in times of uncertainty.
Yeah, especially with governments potentially making moves that could affect traditional financial systems.
It's about freedom and control over your own finances.
In a world where those things seem to be increasingly at risk.
Exactly.
Now, there's one more fascinating link we need to explore: the connection between Bitcoin and energy.
Ah, yes. This is becoming more and more important.
Yeah. One of the articles highlights observations from Samson Mow.
He's a big name in the Bitcoin world.
Yeah. He points out that energy demand is skyrocketing.
Not just from traditional industries, but from new tech, like AI, too.
And Bitcoin mining, which uses a lot of energy, could actually encourage the development of new energy sources, like nuclear power.
That's fascinating.
There's even a country already doing this.
Oh, really? Which one?
Bhutan.
Bhutan.
Yeah, they've been quietly mining and holding Bitcoin for the past 4 years using their hydroelectric power.
Wow, I didn't know that.
They've accumulated a ton of Bitcoin, proving that this strategy can be really effective.
Bhutan's approach is a really great example of how Bitcoin can be used to leverage a nation's energy resources.
It's a strategy we might see more countries adopting in the future.
I think you're right.
This is a lot to take in. It feels like we're only just beginning to understand the potential impact of Bitcoin.
I think that's a good place to stop for today.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. We'll be back soon to continue our deep dive into the world of Bitcoin. Going through these articles, it really does feel like we're at a turning point.
Yeah, like the old financial system is being challenged.
And Bitcoin is like right there.
It really is emerging as a possible alternative.
It's exciting, but it's also kind of scary to imagine what that future might look like.
It really makes you think, huh?
Yeah.
One of the most mind-blowing ideas is this whole concept of Bitcoin as a global reserve currency.
I know it sounds like something out of science fiction.
Right. But the more we talk about it,
the more it seems possible.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. Historically, reserve currencies have been backed by powerful countries.
Like the British pound way back when?
Or the US dollar for most of our lives.
But what if the next one isn't controlled by any one country?
What if it's decentralized, like Bitcoin is?
It would be a huge change.
Monumental. Imagine a world where no single nation dictates the value of the global reserve currency.
So no more reliance on a single country's economic policies or their political whims.
That's the idea.
It's a powerful idea.
It really is.
And it explains why countries like Vietnam are so drawn to Bitcoin.
They want to break free from the existing power structures.
Yeah, they see Bitcoin as a way to take control of their own financial future.
To protect themselves from outside economic pressures.
Exactly. It all comes back to financial sovereignty.
Countries want to be able to make their own economic decisions,
without being beholden to outside forces.
Precisely.
But wouldn't a decentralized reserve currency also lead to a lot of uncertainty?
Well, it's a new idea.
How would things like international trade even work?
Those are good questions, and it's important to remember that Bitcoin is still relatively young.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The systems and the infrastructure needed to support it as a global reserve currency are still being developed.
So this isn't going to happen overnight?
Definitely not. It's a long-term vision. But it's a vision that's gaining traction.
It seems like it.
More and more people are starting to understand Bitcoin's potential.
Even policymakers and financial institutions.
We're seeing it happen right now with countries and companies around the world adopting Bitcoin.
So if this vision does actually happen, what does that mean for us?
For everyday people.
Yeah, how would our lives change in a world where Bitcoin is the dominant currency?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The answer depends a lot on how this transition actually plays out.
Okay.
But one thing seems pretty clear. It would be a world with a lot more financial freedom.
So more control over our own money.
Exactly.
No more banks freezing our accounts.
Or governments devaluing currencies.
Bitcoin puts the power back in the hands of individuals.
It's a totally different way of thinking about and interacting with money.
That's a really appealing idea.
It is.
But there would be challenges too, right?
Of course.
What about people who aren't that tech savvy?
Would they get left behind?
Yeah.
That's a valid concern and something we need to address as more people start using Bitcoin.
We need to make sure everyone has access to the tools and the knowledge to participate.
Things like user-friendly wallets and educational resources will be crucial.
So there's a lot of work to do, but also a lot of potential for positive change.
Absolutely. If we approach this transition thoughtfully and make sure everyone's included, Bitcoin has the potential to create a much more equitable and prosperous world.
Wow, that's a powerful thought.
It really is.
And it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder about the bigger picture. These articles hint that Bitcoin isn't just about tech or finance.
It's about something much bigger.
Yeah, it's about power, isn't it?
Exactly. It's about who controls the world's money.
And how that power is distributed.
Right. Bitcoin challenges the way things have always been done.
Those traditional power structures that have been in place for centuries.
It's a whole new vision for the future.
One that's more decentralized.
More equitable, where power is more evenly spread out.
Among individuals and nations.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why countries like Vietnam are so interested in Bitcoin.
They see it as a way to level the playing field.
To gain control over their own economic destiny.
It all comes back to financial sovereignty.
But wouldn't a more decentralized system lead to more fragmentation?
Potentially, yeah.
More instability in the global economy?
It's definitely something people are talking about.
If everyone's using their own currencies, wouldn't that make things more chaotic?
It's a valid concern and there's no easy answer.
So what does the future hold?
Honestly, we're in uncharted territory.
We're witnessing a huge historical shift happening right now.
The outcome is uncertain, which is both exciting and a little scary.
There's a lot of opportunity, but also potential risk.
Definitely.
It's a lot to think about.
It is, but it's important to engage with these ideas.
To think critically about what could happen.
And to figure out what role we want to play in shaping this future.
So where do we go from here?
Keep learning and exploring.
Stay informed.
The Bitcoin world is changing so fast.
New developments every day.
And don't be afraid to challenge those old assumptions about how things work.
Because the future is uncertain.
But full of possibilities.
And that's what makes this so fascinating.
It really is.
Well, that's a wrap for our deep dive.
It's been an incredible journey exploring these articles and grappling with the implications of Bitcoin.
What does Bitcoin's rise mean for the world?
It's a question we'll be asking for years to come.
To our listener, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
We hope you found it thought-provoking and insightful.
Remember, the future is in our hands.
The choices we make today will shape the world of tomorrow.
Stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
The Bitcoin revolution is just beginning.
All right. Hope that provided some value and gave you some updates on a lot of the stuff happening. TLDR, stack sats, stay away from shitcoins, cult-like communities, grifters in the YouTube influencer spaces. Bitcoin is the only thing that's going to be here for the long term and in this bull run. So stack sats, focus on Bitcoin, smash that HPO special, help brother out, like, subscribe, comment down below. And until next time, live daily and achieve your impossible. See ya. Want to pay your in real life bills with crypto? How about send crypto directly to anyone with a bank account? SPRITZ Finance is a decentralized solution to be your own bank and connect your crypto earnings to real-world bills and payments. They do not take custody of your assets and allow support on multiple blockchains and Web3 wallets. Sign up below using my referral link and you will get $50 back when you make your first $50 bill payment with crypto. Additionally, I will be using referral bonuses to airdrop, donate, or burn based on community feedback. Sign up now.